Fall can be so inspiring for jewelry makers with its unique colors and crisp air. Today we're going to harvest our creativity and learn a few tricks to get a few treats. We've got a charming precious metal clay bracelet, a cuff made from a bamboo placemat, and we'll also spin a stylish spider web with wire. Then I'll show you how to make a fabulous fall-inspired necklace. It's time to fall into fashion with jewelry. Hi, I'm Jackie Guerra. Welcome to my studio. This is jewelry making, and we're creating autumnal jewelry. My first guest is going to really charm you with her precious metal clay bracelet. From Fire Mountain Gems and Beads, please welcome Tammy Hahnemann. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Jackie.
Now, how did you get interested in designing jewelry?
Well, after I had my first son, I decided to stay home with him and spend some time at home and found jewelry, and I feel now that it's found me, and this is all that I'm going to be doing.
That's so great. Good use of time, thanks to your son.
Yes, yes.
And today you're going to show us how to make this. This is so beautiful, this charm bracelet. I can't believe it's precious metal clay.
Thank you.
Just gorgeous.
Thank you.
Show me, show me.
All right, well, first we just roll out the clay to a 3-card thickness, and I'm just...
So you've just got you've got cards taped together?
Correct. Okay. 3 cards high. You can certainly work at a higher depth, but for charms, it's a very simple, textured
piece.
Thank you. And then we're just going to take the rubber stamp and impress it.
And this is where your own design ideas come in. You're making an autumn-inspired charm bracelet, so you're using stamps that have sort of fall leaves and things like that. Okay.
Yeah. And as an alternative, you can use a template with a needle tool.
In order to cut out your charm?
Correct. But for ease, we can also just use a cookie cutter, and we'll just cut.
That's a teeny cookie, Tammy. I like your charms. I'm not so interested in your cookies.
The bigger ones are in the kitchen. And then we'll just take a brass tube and place a hole into the charm so that later, after it's fired, we can hang it onto the charm bracelet.
Perfect.
Great. And then I'm just going to set that aside to dry. And then once it's dry...
And about how long will it take to dry?
Depending on where you live, it could take up to about 24 hours.
Unless you're in Arizona, and it'll take 15 minutes.
Correct. You got it. You got it. Now we're just going to refine the edges. When the clay is fired, it becomes metal, and then if there are any sharp edges at that point, they'll be really sharp. So you don't want to have sharp edges on your jewelry.
So you really want to take the time here and round those corners.
Exactly, exactly. And then you also want to take a needle tool and refine the hole that you cut out with the brass tube. And before you fire, the last thing you want to do is take the brush and remove any other clay particles that might still be remaining.
Okay.
Again, they'll fire onto the metal, so anything you don't want on there, you need to remove at this point.
Okay.
Then we're just going to ignite the torch. This is a little microbutane torch. Going to get that going, and then just start heating up the clay.
And this is a torch that you can just find in your local hardware store.
That's correct. And then you just want to go around in a circle, heating it up.
And what are we looking for here, Tammy? Oh, look at that flame.
There you go. That's just the binder burning off. And then it will start to turn a glowing orange, and at that point you want to hold it for 2 minutes.
Okay.
And at least 2 minutes. You can go longer, but you do not want to melt it. The longer the better.
I see that it's curving, so this clay, the PMC actually shrinks a little bit.
That's correct, it shrinks. This is PMC Plus. Ooh, see, there's
Ooh,
both shiny. So
look at that.
Starting to melt.
That is really cool.
So you just want to let that cool off. And
very important to use a heat-resistant surface to do this on, and then not pick it up right after you finish burning it.
You'll hurt yourself.
You'll really hurt yourself.
And now, once the metal is fired, you want to burnish it. And I like to use a brass brush. And you just burnish it away, knocking down all the bumps. And then you could also use a burnishing tool.
And if you don't have a burnishing tool,
use the back of a spoon. Exactly. Yep. Any smooth round surface. Just make sure that it's smooth and not scratched, because the scratches will impart
really looking beautiful
onto the metal. So you can get into all those crevices with the burnishing tool.
And it's just amazing that, you know, a little while ago this was a rubber stamp and clay.
That's all it was.
It really looks like silver. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you would also use a filing paper if you wanted to make it a little more
You could
polished.
use a polishing cloth, absolutely.
Okay. Polishing cloth.
Yep, and then we're just going to add the charm onto the charm bracelet, linking the jump ring through the chain. And the chain and the jump ring are very strong, so the hole that the
I love
jump
that
ring will
too.
go through is small. As you can see, it's a little bit of a challenge to get it in
And
there.
Tammy, this is the kind of project that you can do in multiples. It doesn't really add time.
Oh, right.
This is one of those where you might want to do gifts for maybe 5 or 6 people all at once.
Oh, yes. I'll definitely just do like 30 charms at one time. Throw them in a kiln. You could also fire in a kiln. And also, this charm bracelet can be interchangeable. You can make other themed charms.
Right, by using the jump rings, you can just change them out as the seasons change.
Exactly.
So great.
Exactly.
And then once you've finished all your charms and attached it, you end up with something that looks like this. And I just think that the choices you made in the rubber stamps are so perfect and beautiful
Thank
for
you
the
very
season.
much. Thank you.
Tammy, this is so gorgeous. And then over here you have one very similar process, except this looks patinaed.
That is patina. I just dipped it into some liver of sulfur. And then also, again, going back to the polishing cloth, once it was patinaed, I just burnished over the metal again
And the
with a
same
polishing
thing,
cloth.
here's another fall-inspired bracelet.
Yeah.
And that's also patinaed.
Yes.
Tammy, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
this
you,
was
Jackie.
beautiful, beautiful. We're falling into fashion. Later, you'll get all caught up in a web necklace that is too cute to be creepy. But next, a cuff you won't want to leave behind. Welcome back. This is jewelry making, and today's jewelry is all about autumn. My next guest is going to add Mother Nature's color palette to a bamboo placemat and turn it into a funky, chunky cup. She's from Ranger Industries. Please welcome my buddy, Robin Beam. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I'm great. Now, what do you think that makes fall jewelry fall jewelry?
The colors just remind me of being warm and cuddly and just gives you that sense of getting ready for the winter.
You're warm and cuddly.
And the other great thing is if you don't live in a place that has your 4 seasons, wearing the jewelry gives you the sense of where you are during the year.
Absolutely, and I think that you have incorporated that theory into such a beautiful piece. This cuff is gorgeous. Look at those colors. Love it. Show me how to make it.
Well, the great thing about it is that it starts with a placemat.
Oh, it starts off looking like this. These are the beads?
It's pressed bamboo, and there are these tiles, and when you cut apart the placemat, what's wonderful is that there are 2 holes drilled. And if that's not asking to become jewelry, I don't know what else is.
Begging, but where did you find the perfect placemat with 2-hole beads?
What you do is you check your local bed and bath stores or decorative stores, or you can go online.
Right, or you can check out our website at DIYnetwork.com for some places to pick up the bamboo placemat and also instructions for all of our projects. All right, show me how to get started.
What you're going to do is use alcohol ink, which will dry on non-porous surfaces such as the tiles.
Look at those colors. These are so beautiful.
And we have an old-fashioned stamp handle that has some Velcro with felt on it. And you see I've inked up the felt already. And what you do is you just press down onto the tile.
And Robin, you've chosen a very abstract color palette so that there doesn't have to be perfect green, perfect brown.
Exactly. You just want it to be just, just a mixture of colors.
Right.
And they blend, and then this ink will dry on its own, or you can speed it along with a heat tool.
Okay.
And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp. We're going to use a waterproof ink. So I have this nice oak leaf stamp, and then again, just press it.
If someone doesn't have a heating tool, about how long do you think it'll take for the ink to dry?
Maybe 5 minutes at most.
Okay.
Because of the alcohol, it evaporates and just leaving the dye onto the tile.
And that's one of the great things about using the alcohol-based inks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the waterproof ink, though, that you do need to use a heat tool to dry. And then once that's dried, you want to make the piece so it's finished.
So here it's been inked up and you've stamped it and it's dry.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a metallic pen and I'm going to just edge all 4 edges. And when it's
love those
done,
pens.
you get a look like this.
Beautiful.
And
I
then-
mean, that looks so polished and pretty.
And that's the fun part of it, is to make it look like it's a finished piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then depending on the circumference of your wrist, you're going to use anywhere between 7 to 10 tiles.
10.
I'm a 10-pound girl myself. And now we're going to put it together. This is elastic cording, and this is a 1 millimeter elastic cord, and we have 3 beads on either side. And what we're going to do that we've strung on, and we're going to crisscross, and we're using big eye needles, and you'll see that there's a large hole here so that you're able to do like a thicker elastic through. And we're going to crisscross, and this is when it gets a little crazy with the elastic. And you're going to pull that through, tighten the elastic, and see how they line right up. We're then going to use a spacer bead, just 1 bead on either side, and again crisscross the needles through. And you're going to continue with that pattern of the 3 to 1 until you get to your desired length.
And then you can see on this one, here's the 3, here's the 1, here's the 3, here's the 1, but they all fit together. We're starting to see the chunk and the funk.
And again, it just gives it that better finished look.
Yeah.
So now the final point is to finish it. And what we need to do is you want to tighten up the elastic so that they all lay next to one another so that it'll stay together and look nice around your wrist. You're then going to meet the first to the last tiles together. And again, we have our 1 spacer bead, and we're going to crisscross the elastic with the big eye needles, and these are so much easier to use because you're able to grab on. And then what we're going to do, see we have 1 elastic on one side and 1 on the other. What I'm going to do is take one of the sides, I'm going to pass it through these 3 beads, back through this line, this drilled line, back through these 3, so that you then have the 2 elastics sitting right next to one another.
So you've passed it through the 3, you're going to go back in across, and then 3 and meet.
And then you're just going to do a couple of double knots tightly, trim it, and you're ready to go.
Great, and let's take a look at the finished piece. Once you've double knotted it and done all of the steps, look at that. That is so pretty, Robin. And then you followed the same process here, right, with this cute Halloween one?
Yeah, just your different choice of color. This is for Halloween, and you can make any ones that you want to match any type.
I'm loving this.
Well, it matches with your ensemble you're wearing now.
Kind of does.
Yeah.
Let me. Beautiful, beautiful. And because there's so many tiles in the placemat,
you can just make as many bracelets as you can imagine for all the 4 seasons of the year.
such a great idea, and you've explained it so well. I love that your eye found a placemat and turned it into something so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
The best. Up next, get entangled in a wiry web of creativity when jewelry making continues. Welcome back. I'm Jackie Guerra, and this is Jewelry Making. Today's inspiration comes from the fall season, and my next guest isn't afraid of spider webs, especially when they're made with wire. She's the owner and designer for Ketty Designs and Ketty Beads. Please welcome Chris Franchetti. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Jackie.
How'd you get started making jewelry?
I think I got started just playing around with some beads and a piece of wire one time, and just kept going and going, and now it's a big part of my life.
It's a huge part of your life and a huge part of your business.
That's right.
And you've created some really original looking designs. I mean, this is so cute and so
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you. This